Hello, this is Deanna and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video reading chapter 8 of Hermitcraft Freedom. There are captions available if you're interested in reading them along, but of course you do not have to. But yeah, they're just captions to just a chapter. So, yeah. I mean, I could do my speaking parts, but I don't know if people really want that or not. I'm just more focused on the reading, so let's focus on the reading. Impulse examined the communicator the interns had confiscated, trying to figure out what was so different from it. Apart from the red casing and green light, which was now off, Joel had been quite confident that this little gadget held the answers to the questions he'd been asking since he, Scar, and Green were attacked. The attackers had Gerald's eyes, and the knack for using gadgets to get the upper hand. Anything interesting? Anything interesting? B-Dubs asked, pulling up a wooden chair before taking a seat. This almost looks exactly like the ones I made. Impulse shook his head. Before all their upgrades, the ones I gave to Rose. That would make sense, Blake replied, leaning against the wall by the large window. If someone gave Rhinestone one of those gadgets. Yeah, Impulse prodded at one of the buttons. Whoever made this did a poor job at recreating this. B-Dubs chuckled. So what's different about it? Apart from the obvious? Impulse turned the device over. Layout looks mostly the same. The buttons are a little busted. And, of course, the light doesn't seem to be connected to any front buttons. Of course, it can't be that easy. B-Dubs mused, shaking his head. It'll make more sense to have a button or switch on the side or back, Impulse replied, running a finger along the side of the communicator. Defectors wouldn't want to be caught selling their targets out. Like Gerald, Blake pointed out. It's practically obvious for Sam and Liam to figure him out, so he tried to pin it on Stampy. Exactly. Impulse looked up. He wanted to keep him quiet, so he tried to trap him. When that didn't work, he attempted to break him into silence. B-Dubs shuddered. Stampy still doesn't like talking about that. Well, you won't have to worry about someone waltzing in through the back door, Impulse replied. No one will. Not when I'm done. Blake chuckled. We know you'll do your best. Impulse sighed, now moving his finger along the back of the machine. I just don't want this to happen again. None of us do, Isaac agreed. The young man was lounging on an yeah, you're right, spell check. In an armchair near the kitchen, where the back door would be, and the entrance to the secret tunnel. Impulse swallowed. Is anywhere ever truly safe? That's why we're here. You think it could be voice activated? B-Dubs asked, leaning closer in his chair. Maybe, or fingerprints if RJ wanted to be fancy. Is it RJ's work? Blake asked. I don't know, Impulse replied. He's more of a scientist who likes making torture machines, not gnolls. Right, Isaac said. So whoever made this had access to one of your communicators and created their own version. It could be one of the defectors, B-Dubs suggested. Maybe, Impulse said softly, pausing when he felt the slightest hint of an intent. You could found it. Okay, then let's get to the bottom of this. B-Dubs jumped to his feet, getting closer to the table without getting in his way. What is it? Switch. Impulse frowned, squinting at where he'd found the intent. Very small switch. If you didn't know it was there, you'd never see it. Easy to activate without looking suspicious, B-Dubs smiled, before it faded. But they didn't need to blend in when they attacked us. They may have had at the school, but they cautioned. Tampering with the communicator would be too dangerous. They could have had someone inside or nearby that would be able to disrupt any distress signal that may occur. Impulse looked over at the young man. They walked in from the back door. Blake nodded. It could have done that. Then why wait until you were alone? It would have been easier to sneak in, splash a lingering potion, and get out. No null needed. Impulse frowned. Then why didn't they? Maybe they didn't want to take any chances, Beat-Up said. They wanted Scar to see it. To see its chair not functioning properly, unable to protect his friends. Gerald. Impulse growled. We don't know what they were planning, Blick replied. He held up his index finger. And we do know that Gerald likes to add flair and pain. Impulse shook his head. That's why his plans never worked. They did before, Beat-Up said quietly. Gerald captured and turned over hundreds, if not thousands, of people. The only reason he wasn't caught was because he was never alone. Until Sam and Liam showed up, Isaac said calmly. Right. Beat-Up's eyes gleamed. There was some sort of hiccup, right? Eli and Rose had to leave. Yep, Blake nodded. You think Rose knew? Beat-Up's eyes grew wide. Or at least suspected. Why would she leave her nephews with someone she thought was dangerous? Impulse raised an eyebrow. Beat-Up sighed. Maybe you're right. She didn't leave them defenseless, Isaac replied. Sam trained for a week in Lovely World, and Liam learned a few tricks at the same safe house. Peter smiled before looking at Impulse. Only we could ask her. Impulse shook his head, flipping a switch, spotting the green light begin to blink before turning the device over. Whoa, that's different, Beat-Up gasped, looking over at the device's screen. The menu had changed. Instead of icons showing the faces of other defectors, there were a bunch of new features, such as a range dial, a radar to search for devices, and the ability to turn on or off machines. That explains why my device turned off when I tried to use it, Impulse grumbled sourly. That's sneaky, Beat-Up whispered, leaning closer to get a better look. Anyway, we could use this against them. I'll need to explore a bit to understand how it works, Impulse replied. Hopefully no one needs to make a call. The others are training upstairs, Blake reported. You might need a worn scar, Beat-Up said. I already told him I'd be looking into this, Impulse said, matter-of-factly. So everything's good? So long as no one has the smart idea to walk through the back door again. Impulse groaned. Rule of 2. Blake smirked. Got your back. Impulse smiled, turning his attention back to the machine. Let's do this. Yes, this is a short chapter. Yeah. It's a short chapter, but it's simple, gets to the point, gets you thinking. That's mainly what this was about. Just to get you thinking. Yeah. Yeah, it just gets you thinking, like, Maybe. Who knows? Because she went to find them. If you remember from the first book, she came to visit them and asked them to come help her. Join protectors, stuff, and all that stuff. That's what she came to do. So, was it because she wanted to keep them safe? Was it because she needed their help with something? Or was it for something else? I don't know. Well, obviously, maybe I do. But, just a thought, because Rose is smart. Yeah. She likes to think ahead. Yeah. And the boys did prove to be capable. handling it. Yeah. But that's going to be it this chapter. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Whenever that might be. Next week, maybe. Want to tune in to see Brienne's perspective. Yeah, and got a long way to go yet. Yeah. Things will start kicking up soon. Soon, in the next couple chapters. I'll be fine. See you in the next one. Bye!